Hi, I'm Natalia Yablokov, and I'm here with Dr. Kay Scanlon. She's a physical therapist. Please tell us about your career journey to your current role of owner of your physical therapy practice.
Okay, great. Well, I started out working in a hospital right out of PT school, which is always a good idea because you want to see a variety of patients. And then a friend of mine and I started our own private practice, which we had for many years in Northeast Philly and in the Bensalem area. And we grew that practice to 2 offices. We had about 15 employees at the time. And then my partner wanted to move out of state. I really wasn't willing to take over the entire practice, so I went to work for someone else for a while and decided I really like being my own boss. So I started over again about 6 years ago. This time a bit differently. I'm trying to keep it small, keep my overhead low. This is mainly a cash practice, so I don't have any employees, which really helps me keep that management to a minimum.
Good. As the owner and the sole practitioner, what are some of your major responsibilities, both administratively and clinically?
Well, you can imagine, as a solo practitioner with no employees, I do it all. I handle the bookwork, I make appointments, I collect payments, I schedule appointments, I treat all the patients myself, do all the reporting to the insurance or to the physician, send out the reports. Marketing, I go out and do a lot of programs at area universities, medical schools, libraries, anyone that wants to get more information about the particular method I use, which is highly specialized. It's called the McKenzie method. Mm-hmm. So I take responsibility for all of it. I do all of it. I do have a little bit of help with the Medicare billing, but otherwise it's all on me.
And what are some of the major challenges that you face managing your practice, and how do you successfully meet those daily challenges?
Absolutely. Well, I think for me, one of the things that I decided when I started the practice was I wasn't going to see a lot of volume. And that's what allows me to do all the other administrative things and marketing things I do. I spend a lot of time one-on-one with patients. So I guess the challenge is always trying to keep that book full, because I don't want to get to the point where I'm growing and destroying my reputation, so I want to make sure I maintain that. The gentleman that was just here had heard really good things, and he was willing to pay out of pocket to come see if I could help him. So the challenge, I guess, is sometimes trying to convince people that what I do is quite different than regular physical therapy. It's highly specialized and often quite effective, but convincing them to take out their wallet can be a little tough. I guess the other thing is that when you're the sole owner, it can be tough to get away. Mm-hmm. Even when I'm on vacation, I'm checking emails, I'm checking the phone and scheduling appointments, because you can't just drop it for a couple weeks or you'll come back to nothing at all.
Right. And what is the best part of your job?
Oh, the patients, obviously. But seeing people leave with a smile on their face, and sometimes they've had pain for 10, 20 years, and seeing them get relief is amazing. I guess as a solo practitioner, the best part of the job is that I have flexibility in my schedule. So if I need to take off to go to the hairdresser or a doctor's appointment, I can schedule around that. If I don't want to work Friday afternoons, I can do that, and I have the freedom and the flexibility to do that. So those are the best parts of being a physical therapist and doing the McKenzie approach, but then also having your own practice.
Right. And this interview is being viewed by a wide audience of healthcare administration students throughout the region. So what advice would you give to a student who is preparing for a career in therapy practice management?
Understand what physical therapy is. First of all, if they're not a physical therapist, they need to understand what the challenges that physical therapists are going through. In today's healthcare climate, it's so tough with all the insurances and the getting approval for visits and writing letters on behalf of patients to get more visits. All the record keeping that you have to do, especially with Medicare, all the codes that you have to maintain every time a patient comes in. Is it the 10th visit? Is it the 30th visit? Where do I have to keep track of things? So I think understanding the challenges that they go through as a therapist, it'd be wonderful if we all could just go to work and do our thing and make people better and not worry about all the other stuff. But administratively, those challenges take time, and backing up and understanding what physical therapy is, and then being able to be supportive of your staff, I think is absolutely crucial. If you're not, you need to spend some time observing, ask a lot of questions, and make sure you understand what's going on for them. I was at a course this weekend, and there was an administrator from a local hospital who happens to be a physical therapist, but he no longer practices as a physical therapist. But he was going to take this course because he wanted to understand what his staff was doing and some of the challenges they had. And I think that's fantastic.
And I know you would agree that a lot of internships and networking would be very important to be getting into any profession. What advice would you offer for finding those internships and opportunities for mentoring by practice owners in the greater Philadelphia area? How can a student connect with those opportunities?
Local chamber of commerce can be one way. Any professional groups, for instance, there's a Greater Philadelphia Pain Society that meets, and it's a multidisciplined group. That would be a good place to meet psychologists, therapists, physicians, psychiatrists, even dentists that come to those meetings. So that would be one place to network. There are a lot of professional meetings that happen that maybe they could speak at even. If they had an area of expertise that they wanted to discuss. These groups are always looking for speakers to come in, so that can be very helpful. Visiting some of the local health clubs could even be another way to kind of get in there. But look for groups that you can network with, whether it's a Chamber of Commerce or a Rotary, anything like that is helpful.
Over the last 20 years, what were some of the lessons that you've learned?
Boy, and when it comes to managing employees, that was tough for me because it was something I had never ever done before, and there's a steep learning curve. But I did take away a lot of really valuable lessons, and I guess I could share a few of those with you. Maintain an open door and make sure people know that they can come to you with any problem that they have, so that you find out things early on, because otherwise there's a lot of behind doors and you never really know what's happening. So open door is really important. Be fair. Don't play favorites. You know, there's some people that you're going to form a friendly connection with, and other people maybe not so much, but you make sure as an administrator or manager, you have to be fair across the board. If you do start to see a problem creeping up with one of the people that you manage, document, because if it comes to a point where you need to discharge that person, you need to have good documentation to support why you're doing that. You could have a lawsuit on your hands if not. But that's just really important to keep track of that. And sometimes you may have an employee who you like them, they do good work, but they're showing up late, they're always calling in sick on Fridays, and you've talked to them repeatedly. It's sometimes better to get that person out of the way because it destroys the morale of the rest of the practice. So you don't want to do it. It's hard to do, but sometimes it's necessary, and things will, there's a shock initially and everybody's quaking in their boots, but after a little while people will appreciate, what, that was a bad apple, and I'm glad that we got them out of here. Regular staff meetings. Let them know what's going on. Don't keep things hidden, because they can sense there's something going on. So share things as soon as you can with everybody so that they're all kind of on the same page. And I think having regular staff meetings is very supportive. People might air problems or solutions that you didn't even think of or know that was happening. Frequent small attaboys are really helpful. Sometimes, just, okay, we're going to have pizza this Friday. Everybody's been working hard, doing a good job. People really appreciate those little things as you go along. I think another thing that we found is we tried to incentivize our staff financially to do extra work. And we found that some people responded well to that, and other people, they didn't care. They wanted time off, or they wanted flexibility in their schedule. So it really helps to find out what is it that person really wants, and try to see if you can give them that. And otherwise, just respect them and lead by example. Don't ask somebody to do something you wouldn't do yourself.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.